Elliot wrote in saying, would you break the law to save a loved one? How would you decide which laws? So we took a similar question a few months ago, which is, would you lie to prevent a loved one? Would you lie under oath to prevent a loved one from going to jail? And we both basically said that it would really depend on the specifics. Is this someone who, in all likelihood, has murdered someone, and we would just have to lie with a fake alibi to try to create a situation where they're found not guilty? Or is it someone who is being targeted by what we find to be an unfair war on drugs, and we could maybe get them out of trouble by telling a white lie? To recap, Lewis, we said it would really depend on the situation, I believe.
We did, yes. I think it would depend on the crime. It would depend on what we would have to do in this case to break the law. What laws would we be breaking? I'll let you start with that.
Yeah, so let's get into this question. Would you break the law to save a loved one? I'm going to assume that this doesn't mean legally save, like save from prosecution. I'm going to say physically save. Someone is in physical danger. Would you break the law to save a loved one? What type of scenarios are we talking about? If I knew that someone was stuck inside a house and there was carbon monoxide filling the house, would I break and enter that house in order to get them out, even though that would be a crime? I probably would, right? Because later I would explain, and you would assume most reasonable individuals would understand what you were doing. And even if they didn't, and I was still accused of breaking and entering a house, that you would, given the circumstances, be able to get a plea or some kind of smaller punishment. So I think in that particular case, sure, I would break the law to save a loved one.
Okay, I have a hypothetical for you then. Let's take it to the next level. Let's say your sister is, it's many years from now, and your sister is in a relationship with someone that is incredibly abusive, physically abusive, verbally abusive, mentally, you name it.
I hate him already. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. She is too terrified to do anything about it, and you think it's getting to the point where she could be killed, and she is too terrified to talk to anyone, to go to the police, to do any of that. Would you kill that man?
I would not kill the man. I would not kill the man. I would certainly, though, get involved, and we talked about this slightly a few months ago in, would you work to break up a relationship that you believe is bad for one or both of the people in it? I would certainly get involved in some way to try to put an end to the abuse. Now, would this be myself trying to work to get evidence of abuse to get this individual arrested? That can be risky because people often get bailed out, and then what if he goes back and he takes it out on my sister? Mm-hmm. I mean, this is a very complex situation. The
police show up and she denies it. The police show up and she tells the police to go away. There's nothing wrong. Do you just break his legs?
It's really hard to say because, what could you do first? Could I set up cameras to try to record the guy abusing her? Well, what's the legality of secretly setting up cameras? That would be breaking the law. But would I be willing to do that? This is tough. And to be quite honest, it's quite flustering to think about this possibility, particularly as she's only a few years away from the age at which she might start to date.
Yeah. I think I would definitely break the law under, probably the majority of situations to save a loved one. But, when it comes to those really extreme examples like murder or, destruction of property valued over a certain amount or things that would put me in prison for a very long time, I don't know. That's, I think it would depend on the level of danger to them,
If you were a parent, you accidentally have a kid, by chance you happen to love the kid, perfect. I think it's hard for either of us to say because we aren't parents, but from parents I speak to, there are many dads who say, I would go to jail for life if I knew that it meant taking an action that would keep one of my children safe.
Yeah, I think... it's crazy to think about because there are so many situations, there are so many variables, and it's a lot to consider. But I am not above breaking the law when it comes to friends and family.
All right. I think generally I agree with Lewis, although our red line may be different. What about you? Would you break the law to save a loved one? How would you decide which laws? We have a terrific bonus show coming up. There is only one way to get access to the bonus show, and that's by being a David Pakman Show member. which you can sign up for at davidpakman.com/membership.